2, 3, 4.
In today's rugby, there are a lot of things we know we want to achieve. The question for most of us is how. How to get the best for our club and our players. The game is becoming saturated with expensive training aids. Everything from isotonic drinks to positive aggression weekends in Wales.
And hit! 2, 3, 4. And hit! 2, 3, 4.
The right tools for the job are what is required, and in the dynamic nature of today's rugby, we aim to show that using the right technology effectively can really strengthen traditional areas and develop new skills for the players.
Yes! 2, 3, 4. 2, 3. Yes!
Let's look at the Predator 65 Plus and how you would use it in a training session to get the best from it and your players. We're not going to show all of the exercises possible in extended detail. That would take forever. The aim is to show you the possibilities of this machine and how it can be integrated into your training program. This video is about the exercises available with this machine and not designed to show the individual techniques of the participating players.
We aim to show that using the Predator system allows you as a coach to overcome many of the difficulties associated with training and to integrate it into a worthwhile and productive training regime.
Because when push comes to shove, you have to know how to shove, where to shove, and when to shove. The first set of exercises look at the way we can use the Predator system to work with single players and help build up the individual skill sets. Later we will see how using the Predator system it is possible to involve the whole team, forwards and backs, in complex exercises, working continuously like this. However, to get to this point, we have obviously to address a lot of basics and build upon the individual skills learned. So, for the moment, back to basics. Here we see the players simulating a contact situation. This exercise is designed to help the player keep on his feet, keep possession and keep the game flowing. Additional commentary is from one of the world's most experienced authorities on this type of training, the ex-England and British Lion player Nigel Horton.
Here we begin with a contact situation, looking at foot and body positions to maintain ball control and resist opposing pressure from the pads.
As with all the situations you are going to see, the Predator system allows control of the resistances to suit individual strengths or different age ranges and abilities.
This exercise aimed at a player arriving second, third or fourth and acting as a blocker, where his role isn't to go in on the ball, it's more to protect the ball carrier when the opposition are arriving. What we are working on are body angles, where 1, it's safe, and 2, you're strong enough to resist any movement. The machine will show out all pull techniques, a prime example of which is the lad closest to the camera.
When he hit, it was like this, wasn't it? Yeah? So where's his drive going? As I'm coming in here, I want to be horizontal to the floor there, looking forward, hit in that position. Yeah?
With these exercises, using players arriving together at a ruck, the machine offers constant resistance to their impact, which can be easily measured and controlled.
Going another step on, we now look at bringing groups into contact areas where we are looking for support players. Communication here is vital, as is the ability to keep up the pressures on the resistance of the machine, which, as we saw earlier, can be varied and measured by movement of the pads. Now, by locking off the front drum, we can use the machine as a sled, and the players have to generate enough force to push the machine backwards. The intensity of the exercise is now increasing, making the players work harder. The aerial shot shows how the pressures have more effect down the centre of the machine, where more force is generated.
It also shows areas of weakness which previously would have been very difficult to accurately pinpoint. The coordination required by forwards today is demonstrated in the way the machine twists, reflecting an unbalanced and therefore weakened application of force. Keeping an even push gives more effective pressure and maintains control.
By releasing the lateral control handle, we are bringing another level of intensity to the exercise. Players' awareness, concentration and communication is tested as they try to maintain the direction of their force against the pivoting head of the machine. They actually have to think about where they are trying to push and present a controlled and united force. Here we integrate what actually happens in a match with hard physical training. The hardest part for a big man is going to ground and getting back up again.
This exercise shows how quick reaction and repetition can be sharpened. It is particularly effective for the big lads up front who need to quickly get back on their feet and reassert their position.
Stand it up, let's get there. Talk. Come on, communicate. That's it, get to it.
As we expand the exercise, more players become involved and the throughput of activity is increased.
We're now building on these skills involving a runner and establishing continuity of the ball.
That's good. Up you get. Come on, get up. Let's go.
As the session develops, the machine can be used to bring in other players in a support role, practicing again and again, arriving at the start of a maul, aiming to keep possession and develop into the next phase.
This exercise now takes us further where the player refuses to accept the tackle point and drives through it, maintaining a good body angle.
Go down about half a metre away. Now the next two, come in, wide arms, forget the ball, hit here.
Developing the last move, the support player realises the ball is not available and must make a commitment to free it.
This is designed to move play along into the second phase, which, as well as increasing personal fitness and skill, also develops the coordination of the other players. We also here have a good example of the control of resistance which can be administered by using this machine. The resistance can be changed dynamically by the coach or an assistant as the team work through the exercise. Once again, more players are involved in the piece, learning defined skills, less in the passive but exhausting role of opposition. Communication between players is also encouraged.
Now using forwards and backs, the exercise expands laterally, allowing support players to release the ball. Contact shields are used on each side of the machine and up to 24 players can be involved. This helps the coach control the players' work periods.
This session involves more players, and increasingly the controlled flexibility of the machine brings more dynamics into play.
This exercise now looks at ripping the ball away from the contact point, maintaining possession and continuity. The emphasis is on the support player coming in on the ball, keeping the correct body position and maintaining momentum, avoiding stoppage such as a ruck or more. This realistic, game-orientated training gives a player confidence in his skills so that he can use them to good effect in a real match. Once the techniques are developed, offensive and defensive play can be practiced under pressures found in a real match.
Get in there, guys! Post it! When you like! Keep driving, when you like!
We have shown the first in a series of exercises designed to help you get the best out of your Predator system. We've seen the way we can develop individual skills and expand them to involve more players and build up the flow of play, keep possession, gain ground and develop a situation to our advantage. The control, flexibility and consistency of the Predator training is beginning to come into its own. Now let us look at its use with a more established ruck situation. Again, we will look for player involvement, workload and real benefit. We expand the sessions to encompass more of the overall game.
These exercises continue our building blocks, mixing forwards and backs, where we look at the breakdown situation. We also use this one to set up a mini ruck, recycle the ball and move the player away from the opposition support.
Here we see the skills practiced earlier becoming more coordinated into a full game schedule.
We are now working with a full pack in a mauling situation, driving the opposition backwards to make the ball available to our backs for them to practice their combinations. The pack recover, jog back slowly, use the second ball, hit back again at the machine and depending upon fitness levels can be repeating this as necessary. We're looking at bindings, driving communications, awareness, all of which diminish as fatigue sets in. Introducing the pivoting head focuses again on awareness, communication and drive down the middle, allowing good ball to the backs, who again are involved in practicing their various combinations. The control which the lads exert is an example of building on earlier exercises. Again, keeping the pivotal head free allows a realistic situation to be exploited as the players drive forward and displace the maul, maintaining momentum. This also allows defensive players to be involved with contact suits, hence working both offensive and defensive techniques. Using a ruck situation, we again expand the exercise to include more players, building on previous exercises, allowing the play to go wide with forwards in support. They then switch to a second ball, hit again and make play for the backs to score a try.
This again shows how separate skills can be linked into continuous movement and still involve the whole team.
This brings together many different elements into a complex exercise which could not be performed without first mastering the exercises shown earlier. Again, driving forward, playing out wide, switching with the backs, providing support at speed, integrating forwards and backs into contact situations, introducing another ball to change direction at the discretion of the coach. The intensity can be extreme, fully simulating a game situation.
You have seen the second in a series of exercises designed to help you get the best out of your Predator system. Building on individual skills, moving to group exercises, becoming more continuous and involved. The Predator allows you control, flexibility and imagination in your training regimes. The savings on time, players' availability and increases in relevant workloads help enormously to boost the productivity of a training session. We will be using the same squad in a sequence of exercises using the width of the pitch to maintain momentum and workload for the whole squad. In set pieces, quality repetition is vital.
The modern methods of catch and drive at lineouts are also covered by the Predator system. Using the skills practiced earlier, you can maintain a continuous period of play, anything from 30 seconds to a couple of minutes, and then restart from the lineout.
Drive it! Down the middle! Come on, drive! Let's drive it! Now roll it! Roll it! Roll it! Go down! Quick ball! Quick ball! Go down! Go back! Walk back! Yeah!
Scrummaging techniques are already covered in another video. What we see here is the two-ended use of the machine involving more forwards and backs in continuous play, anything up to 90 seconds. Also, a second ball is introduced, forwards hitting the other end of the machine, playing a quick ruck, then linking with the backs, Simple adjustment of the brake on the machine once they have left the scrum takes it back into a rucking and mauling machine as we saw earlier.
We have shown you one team on one day going through a series of exercises based around the Predator training system. They have progressed from practicing a series of individual skills into a varied, complex and ultimately rewarding session for the whole team. We've shown you our version of the basics. Now it's over to you to use the Predator system for your team to get results.
Yes,